Hey guys, it's me and the team here at Authentic Mission, and I want to talk to you about a couple things today. So there's going to be some separate videos, so keep an eye out. One thing is that I want to talk about is a little bit about human rights, a little bit about PC and what's the right kind of PC or political correctness, and the wrong kind of political correctness. Because I've heard about this before and I've always kind of wanted to comment on it, but you didn't know how much of it was rumor or how much of it was research. Um, so I'm going to start with is there a place for political correctness? Yes. Is there too much of it today? Yes. Am I guilty of probably before I came to certain realizations that I have today? Am I guilty of being one of those PC whiners a little bit sometimes? Yes. But that's the things with humans beings. We can change, we can adapt. So let me tell you about proper political correctness. Um, Now, this is only my silly little opinion. All I want to do on this YouTube channel and when I post these different places is create conversation. So if you have a comment, feel free to comment. Just don't be a dick about it. And by that, and the reason I say that is because the first type of political correctness that bothers me is when you comment on something online, and this can happen with text messages too. You say something to someone or you comment and you're reading the tone incorrectly, and you're like, oh god, he's being bitchy, like what the hell, and then you're bitchy, and then it starts this needless fight and this needless, well, why are you being a dick right now, or whatever the case may be. um and that's why I'm guilty of texting, but I prefer to talk to people because sometimes it's like it can be corrected. But when I comment on things online, with my learning disability, my vision impairments, and yes, I wear glasses, but with my visual impairments, it can still be tricky. Sometimes I'll miss words or I'll misspell words, and I won't be able to catch it in time. And I've had people go, "Oh, look at you! You're butchering the English language." And well, you must not. I have one person that was like, "You must not be from this fucking country," and I'm going, well, wait a minute, dude. First of all, you don't know me. Second of all, I have a learning disability and I have vision impairments. And then the guy was like, well, you didn't specify that. You know what? I shouldn't have to fucking specify it, so go screw yourself. If you misunderstood something that I spelled, and you're like, wow, that guy's English kind of burns, then fine, keep your fucking useless opinion to yourself. And then like, you don't know me, I don't know you, so I'm not going to sit there and say, well, this guy's just a complete asshole all the time. I'm not going to do that. But when you assume things in that moment, you're being an asshole. So there is that, and there is, depending on who the person is. Um and I'm guilty of this too. Depending on who the person is, somebody could say a joke to me, and I'm like, oh, go fuck yourself, but more in like a joking kind of, oh, screw you too, you know. But then it's funny. I'm guilty of this, where someone else can say that same type of joke, and I'm like, God, you're a dick. So that's something that I got to work on. Because again, it can be hard to figure out. Okay, was that meant in a dickish way, or was that okay? And again, like, depending, it can depend on your history with that person. So, um, um, again, it's your discretion. So it can depend on your history with that person. I've had roommates that I've gotten in fights with because I'm finally, within the last few years, willing to admit that I'm gay, and that's the way it is. And if you don't like it, then hoop it. If you are supportive, then cool. I'm not gonna shove my my lifestyle down your throat. I'm not one of those people that, I'm not flamboyant about it. Nothing wrong with anybody that is. That's their self-expression. That's fine. That's my silly little opinion. But, again, it can all depend on who's saying what and when. Because when my roommates used to make comments back in the day before this new office space, they were dicks. They were older. They were constantly throwing shit in my face. They were making big deals about nothing. Then you got issues of double standard, which I'm dealing with right now because I have a picture of a shirtless person on my on a piece of my furniture in my apartment, and a PSW where I live, like a PSW came in and complained about it, but yet there's other tenants that can have heterosexual women pictures everywhere and on their screensaver, and it's never nothing's ever said. So that type of thing where it's double standards can be a little bit dickish. But that's where it's like, why is humanity like that with anything? Why is there allowed to be a double standard? I mean, I don't know. I'm just trying to start a conversation here. If the reason is different, then maybe it gives reason to it. I don't know. What do you guys think? But there is the type of PC whiny little millennial bitches that are out there right now that get too offended just for the sake of getting offended, and then they trend on Twitter and they got their fucking 15 minutes of fame, and they trend on Facebook and they got their 15 minutes of fucking fame, and they whine about a celebrity wearing a native a native picture or a native costume, and then they whine about another guy who went, like this was a couple of years ago I think, who went to a Halloween party with himself dressed as a Klemsman and his son dressed as a slave. Now let's look at where we were, I believe, in that moment in time. That's where all this topics was started with Trump and what's politically correct and what's not. So, and there was all this stuff about slavery. Do I think slavery was dickish? Hell yeah. It was brutal. And I, on behalf of myself, I would like to apologize for anybody that feels the effects of that. But if you're going to get upset at a fucking Halloween costume, that's what gets... If you're going to complain about a costume and they shouldn't be selling this and they shouldn't be selling that, these companies that make the costumes, or even the people that think up their own costumes, are trying to be current. Maybe in some cases be old school and wear like Back to the Future outfit or something. But if you're going to whine and complain when all these companies are trying to do is cash in on pop culture of that moment, then shut the fuck up, because all you're doing is giving them publicity, and then other people are going to want to wear the costume because it's the hot topic. So all you PC whiny little bitches, all you do for your cause is you start a trend, but you're also feeding the other beast where you're giving these companies or singers or whatever you want to whine about political correctness, okay? And I mean, you're giving them, sorry, not political correctness, but you're giving them publicity. So shut the fuck up, man. And then you got other people that get offended for the sake of getting offended for you. Like, okay, we all grew up with the Looney Tunes. It's been running for 40 years. Now it's on like Teletoon Retro or a Cartoon Network or whatever the case may be. And they've been running for years. They are classic. They're whatever. Well, when Cartoon Network... Was it Cartoon Network? Anyway, whenever some company bought all the Looney Tunes shit, They got rid of Speedy Gonzalez, and if you don't know who I'm talking about, go ahead and look it up. It's that little mouse dude that whatever. The voice was done by Mel Blanc anyway. Acting voice legend, bigger than Rob Williams, bigger than Dan Castellaneta. Anyway, so this company got rid of Speedy Gonzalez because people were saying, "Oh, it's so offensive to Mexicans." When you got the Mexican people coming out and going, "We love this. This is the mascot. It's a cartoon classic." You got the Mexicans saying it's fine, and then you got little I don't know, 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds coming out and bitching and whining and saying, "Oh, it's so offensive to Mexicans." Shut the hell up. Unless the Mexicans are complaining about it, and I'm talking a handful of Mexicans, shut the hell up. Unless you got millions of them coming out or thousands of them coming out, again, shut the hell up. That's the type of political correctness that pisses me off. When you got people coming out and whining for the sake of whining. Do I agree with everything that Trump says? No. Do I think he can possibly say things the wrong way when maybe he doesn't mean them as bad as he does? Again, with Trump, like what I'm trying to get to with Trump is you whining little bitches that are whining about him, including me sometimes, sit there and whine about what he's doing, but then 50% of Americans didn't fucking vote. So you know what? Unless you voted, shut the hell up. Okay? And like, just, that's the type of thing that pisses me off. You got protests coming out like crazy. You got him acting like a child, in my personal opinion, about it. So is he perfect? No. Should he be president, in my opinion, right now? No. But again, my silly little opinion, and I'm not American, so I have really no right to bitch and complain about him. But you guys didn't, a lot of Americans didn't vote, so shut up. If you want to fix it, go out next year or in the next 4 years or 3 and whatever years and vote and get him out and shut up. Okay? That's what needs to be done. If you want change, then actually go out and vote for it. If you're sitting there and you're offended for the sake of being offended because you want your 15 minutes of fame, shut up. If you're sincere, then do something about it, but just don't whine about it on don't be a trend just to be a trend, okay? Like that's like when it's political correctness for the sake of whining, it's got no power. When it's political correctness to actually make change, like maybe petitions and a valid reason, like if you're Mexican and you were offended by Speedy Gonzalez and you got a Mexican group coming out and saying get rid of Speedy Gonzalez because that's the Mexicans that are saying it, then that's different. But there was I don't remember names. I watched a YouTube video yesterday. Go look it up. Type in a look back at Speedy Gonzalez. It's this guy that's got like an animation YouTube channel. He'll give you the story behind it. But basically, there was a Mexican group that came out and said, we love it. So, to sum it up, and I'll shut up. If you want change, go out and vote for it. If you want to be politically correct and you're part of that group and you're offended, then fine. If you're not part of that group, then shut up. Maybe make a comment, but don't try to make a trend out of it. Don't try to get on E-Talk. Don't try to get on Entertainment Tonight. Just don't. Just shut up and get out of your mommy and daddy's basements.